Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'd like to apologize for starting late. We had a few setbacks that I wanted to resolve before starting. Thank you for honoring our invitation to this landmark moment. My name is Ayodeji Akintaje. I'm the marketing lead for Avon HMO. Before we dive into the proceedings of the day, I'd like to take a moment to introduce our esteemed guests. On the high table, to my left, we have Dr. Francis. Dr. Francis is the business strategist for Kaffy Inc. And right beside Dr. Francis, we have a very old Kaffy. Dr. Kaffy, sorry, my apologies. Dr. Kafayat
Yes.
Shafar, popularly known as Kaffy. Kaffy is a leading professional dancer. She's a fitness coach. She's also a Guinness World Record holder and a doctor. Yesterday, she was decorated by SK University in Benin with the honorary doctorate in recognition as a pioneer in the business of dance in Africa. I think that deserves a round of applause. And beside Kaffy, we have Atinike Kolade. Atinike Kolade is the head of sales, retention, and growth at Avon HMO. She is representing the CEO of Avon HMO at this press conference. And beside Atinike, we have Dr. Babajide Oyejudo. Dr. Babajide is the head of retail and SME sales in Avon HMO. So once again, I'd like to welcome everyone to the press conference and official launch of the Kaffy Health Plans. Present in this hall room, we have representatives from ETV, we have representatives from TVC and channels. And on the other side, people watching online, we have representatives from Vanguard, Guardian, The Sun, and This Day. So on the agenda for today, we have quite a number of things, but I can assure you that we won't be taking too much of your time. We'll start by taking a welcome address from Atinike. We'll also get like an insight into the background of this partnership between Avon and Kaffy. That will be taken by Dr. GD and Kaffy. Then we'll be taking questions from members of the press, and then we have the closing remarks. So please join me in welcoming Atinike as she takes the opening remarks.
Thank you very much, DG, and once again, Dr. Kaffy. I'd like to congratulate you on your honorary doctorate degree that was bestowed on you by SK University yesterday, I believe?
Yes.
All right, okay. And welcome again, everybody, for joining us at this landmark event. And before I go into what today's event is about, I'd just like to talk a bit about Avon HMO. Licensed in 2012, Avon HMO is one of the leading health maintenance organizations in Nigeria. In 2015, we were the first HMO to delve into the retail space. We empower Nigerians, people in general, to live healthier, fuller lives. Our service offerings covers health plans and related health services to individuals, families, groups, communities, and corporates. It's also noteworthy to mention that Avon HMO is a part of the Heirs Holdings Group, and that is an African proprietary investment company. Now, the reason why we are here. We've had conversations in Avon HMO for years about bridging the gap between health and the entertainment industry. Of course, dance being an offshoot of that industry. And it would come as no surprise when, from time to time, we hear about artists, dancers who maybe have fallen ill or perhaps have some kind of accident, and they would have to reach out on all social media platforms, different social media platforms, seeking for crowdfunding. And this shouldn't be so. Because the dance industry is like, I relate it to like a circus when you're walking on a thin rope without a safety harness. Their body and their mind helps put that craft together. So there has to be a better way to insulate this particular community. And we started conversations with Kaffy, which I would leave her to discuss later in this press conference, and my colleagues would, Jide, Francis and Kaffy would also speak more to that. So I'll pass the mic to Judy.
Thank you, Tim, again. So it's we all know that right now, presently, there is a gap in terms of access to healthcare, and even with health insurance, only approximately 5% of Nigerians have some sort of insurance cover or the other. So what we've done was to look into how do we bridge this gap. Most of the people who form this 5% are beneficiaries from their places of work. So employers are the ones who are financing the insurance scheme. So that leaves the 95% who are not members of any formal organizations or groups. So we decided to delve into the retail space because that is an aspect of our sector that has been largely overlooked by most of the HMOs. So we were the first to really put up something in the market, and then we then decided to think outside the box again to see how do we still reach more people within this space. And then the conversations with Kaffy started, and that birthed this whole partnership. So Kaffy will also speak from her perspective about the partnership.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Judy. Thank you very much for that. For me, I think by now people know how passionate I am about young people in general and youth of this country in general. And dance has always been my access to the youth. And being a dancer myself and seeing that our country has a high percentage, we're talking about more than half of the population of this country are youth. And about 75% of that population are into the creative industry. So we're not just talking about creative industry alone. Let's look at it from critically as in that is a chunk of the population of the country. So if we amplify the need to close the gap and have accessible and affordable healthcare to that 75%, we are practically solving a huge national problem as well in terms of access to healthcare. And I have seen categorically, and either from direct access to these young people or from information based on the industry, people die or are going through a lot of mental depressive states that has marred their productivity due to lack of access to what could alleviate or eradicate that whole situation. So you're dying from an ailment that could have been cured if you had quick access. And when you look at the general reason why people live with conditions that could have been taken care of is because I don't have the money for even just the diagnosis of it. So I have a young lady last month that we had to spend almost 200,000 for her test because she's been living with tuberculosis for over 8 years and she's a dancer. So her lungs have developed a tumor now. But if she had adequate health care, it would have been accessible. So like dancers are even considered like the bottom of the food chain when we look at the entertainment industry. However, we are the pillar of the entertainment industry. So we need, we are like an endangered species. So we need to help that community. And dance is standing as a position, and I'm grateful for Avon that you could connect to us, not seeing us as just numbers that you want to sell plans to, but you are also driven towards that goal of we need to eradicate that helplessness that an average individual has in this country. And if Kaffy has that same vision, we're in alignment vision-wise to connect to the community and show that we care. And I love that because I've spoken with some HMOs that it was all about numbers. How many go by? How many people can you bring? How many plants can you sell? But when I came here, that was not the conversation. It was, look, this is what we were trying to do. We want to try and get to the community. We have only 5% of Nigerians having a healthcare plan. 75% of this country are young people. You want to connect to young people. It's a no-brainer. So for me, having to get to this point where you guys have done your own homework and have to break your back in a position where I have had to like squeeze Avon into giving us a deal that naturally doesn't even exist within the HMO market scheme. We are talking about we need it to be subsidized because we need it to be affordable. We are talking to a generation, or we are talking to an industry that is only a single unit percentage that is even making a lot of money. How can they afford it? That's one. Then two, we're also begging them again that please make sure that the services are quality. The hospitals are the best ones. Then three, we're also saying in our package, the things that doesn't exist in some other packages, we want it because we want it to be specific to our industry. So everyone had to go back and look through all that because this is they have to be paid for. And they're like, okay, how do we accommodate all these needs and create a new package that does not exist but can work for dancers and non-dancers alike? And that's why we are here today, and I'm happy that we have gotten to the point where we can share it with the country, with the industry, and the dancers, that dance has brought this upon the creative industry. And eventually, 5 years from now, I can see that we'll have closed that gap. You say 5% of the country. I'm hoping that we can close it and we can say, oh, we have successfully been able to activate 45% of the country. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you, Kaffy. Just, taking that from what she said, 45%, presently it's 5%. The penetration of health insurance in Nigeria is about 5%. And that's why, Avon is continually working towards empowering individuals to live healthier, fuller lives. Now, the question should come to mind. Why is the Avon Kaffy plan different from any other plan? Or is the Avon Kaffy plan even different from any other plan? And yes, it is. As she mentioned, this is not about trying to sell a plan and trying to, rake in those numbers. As I had mentioned earlier on, this is a conversation we've been having at Avon HMO for years. This plan is dance community centric. At Avon, we looked at the community. We identified what is unique to that community in terms of health, in terms of lifestyle, in terms of culture, in terms of tribe. What is unique to the dance community? And based on that, we developed the plan. And as Kaffy had also mentioned, this is not a plan that we want to just push numbers because we want to make this sale. It has been heavily subsidized, and it's identified the different niches in the dance industry for those who are starting, for the intermediary, and even for people who want to have their families on that plan. So just speaking to that, it's dance-centric, and we're calling on the larger dance community and even holding our counterpart HMOs to what do I say now?
To challenge them.
Yeah,
challenging them.
Thank you very much. To challenge them, because we want to penetrate the industry. And we start with dance and we'll take you further. Thank you.
Okay. So, I have some questions here already. And it says, what is the current state of the Nigerian dance industry as regards to healthcare and general welfare? So I'm going to take that one. I'm going to start with the healthcare. It's really almost non-existent, because averagely, for every time there's a serious condition, and I'm talking about those that we could even tell, the ones that are popular enough for us to even tell, we had to do a lot of crowdfunding, GoFundMe situation to help, help them recover from the ailment. Just recently, we had Chukuma, who had a tumor in his brain, and he was blinded already in one eye, and we had to raise almost 3 million naira for him, and thank God we were able to raise it in less than a week for him to go into surgery. That's 3.5 million. If he had an insurance or health plan, I am very, very sure that amount of money will have been subsidized, or he will have had to take treatment way before it got this bad. Because from the information that came to us, he has been nursing it for years. So he has been managing for years, because he's also a breadwinner to his family. So that's where the welfare part also come in place. So we're talking about healthcare service for dancers. An average young mind, because when we say dancers sometimes, I want people to not think that they are not human beings or we're not Homo sapien. I'm saying dancers from the description of our job, but when we look at us as a human being, an average young person living in Nigeria is in this situation. And what is that situation? They are breadwinners. By the age of 15, 16, a lot of them are the one fending for family. I can tell you this for a fact, because I have hardly come across a dancer, a young man or woman that has worked with me for over 20 years that is not the one actively helping at home. So you have that pressure where they have to work to survive. Then you have that pressure where their body is the work that they have to use to survive. And that body does not even have the care, because they have deprioritized the care and limited their mindset to only hustle. So when you start telling them about take care of your body, it's almost like you don't even know what is up. Let me face this job. Let me flip. But until when they break an hand, they break their leg, or they sprain their spine, they now realize that they are home for 3 months, not doing anything in recovery. It's those kind of people that now come back and say, I can't allow this to happen to me again. So must we allow everybody to break their leg, break their neck before we start? So on this journey, awareness is very, very key, even for the dancers to start understanding that, look, your body is your bank. This is what provides for you. You need to prioritize on taking care of it. The same way you take care of a vehicle that takes you to work, you oil it every morning, you put water in it, you take care of it, because that's the source of getting to work. So dancers themselves need to be educated to understand that if this is my source of, this is the engine for where I'm having to make a living, I need to take care of that engine, which is my body. When we talk about welfare, it's the same thing. It's the welfare situation that even leads to where we are, because a lot of dancers are like, I never chop belly full, then I'll not be paying for one thing or the other. You understand? So we're also trying to kind of like ease the pain of wealth creation. And that's why even Avon, moving forward from here, we're saying we're not just going to be going to the community and say buy health plans. We need to even help the community be in a position whereby they can even afford it. We need them to be in a position whereby they can understand why they need it and understand that it's an investment and not just an outright sale. That, look, this thing is an investment for you. You are the one benefiting from it. And through that, a lot of strategic projects have been outlined that we're going to be doing in the course of the journey of in the nearest future. One of that is what we are here. Avon, you can see it's right there. Avon is on it. It's called the Dance Boss Challenge, where we are using this as an opportunity to reach out to the community, empower young people every week, to be able to sustain themselves, at the same time educate them. So they are getting free education weekly about health, mental health, and all of that, and they are getting empowerment. So this is not just talking the talk, we're also walking the walk. Thank you.
Okay, so one other question is what conversations led to this partnership? One thing about Avon HMO is that we are all about meaningful partnerships. We are always on the lookout for partnerships where we can make a difference in people's lives. And we see Kaffy as a defining personality in the creative space, not just limited even to the professional dance space, as it were. And she's also somebody who has, over time, demonstrated genuine care and affection for the welfare of members of our community, of our dance community. And it was based on this that conversations started between herself and our CEO, Adesimbo Okiri. And we did do some work behind the scenes and then developed the Kaffy Health Plans, which we are speaking about today.
No, the next question.
Okay, we have another question here. Why are you launching a health plan for dancers in particular? So Avon HMO is not averse to any sector. It is about identifying a need, plugging into that community, and bridging the gap. They have done this in the past with different sectors and communities, and dance presently is a community in which we have identified a need. The hope is that by providing healthcare to the dance community, we can feed or give them an avenue where they can pay attention to their body, pay attention to their mind, because their body and their mind puts together their craft. And this is where they earn a livelihood.
Yeah. In addition to that, this plan is actually just the first step in transforming healthcare for the entire entertainment industry. Because I've had some people say, me, I'm the photographer now, can I not be part of the plan? You know, we are all part of the plan, we're all part of the whole creative industry. So dance is just like the forerunner to giving the creative industry that access. And I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of that, you know, despite being, you know, relegated to the bottom, even within our creative space, we are, yeah, you know, in practice we are. But in the reality of our contribution, we're not. In the reality of our contribution, we're a pillar. We are a pillar, we are a conveyor, we are the vehicle to even why the Afro music has gone global. Without the dance as a career, or the career for that, we will not be able to have penetrated the global space for our music industry. So I feel dance is grossly underestimated, but its effect, its impact cannot be taken away. It's there. So that's why people like us, or people like me, I'm there to amplify the essence of what dance is doing. And so the fact that we are doing this health plan and kicking off with dance, it doesn't mean that dance is going to be the only beneficiary of such of such a thing. Thank you.
So, in terms of treatments that are covered by the Kaffy Health Plans, we actually cover quite a lot in terms of the benefits. So, dancers who buy the plan, or anyone who buys any of the Kaffy Health Plans, gets access for coverage of simple ailments like malaria, typhoid, and the likes. They can also access optical and dental care, as well as more care for more serious illnesses and even surgeries, depending on the plan. We also threw in mental health care and wellness services into the plans in order to cater for the specific demands of the industry that dancers may find themselves. In terms of affordability, the plans are affordable. Like Kaffy mentioned earlier, part of the consideration that went into the development of the plans was the consideration in terms of the earning power of the people who are meant to access the plan. So in terms of benefits available to holders of this policy and the premiums that are going to be paid, they are very affordable and, as she said, subsidized. We have two variants of the plan. One is called the Kaffy Starter Plan, which is designed for young, as the name implies, dancers who are starting in the industry and mostly single. That is designed for them. And then we have the Kaffy Plus Plan, which has slightly more benefits, including things like maternity care for more older dancers who also may want to provide cover for their families as well. We believe that with these two variants, we've provided adequate care for majority, if not all, members of the professional dance community, regardless of where their position is in the community. Thank you.
Good question, then I'll take mine.
Okay.
We have another question here. Can people who earn professional dancers buy the plan? The truth is, it's a ripple impact project. The plan is open to anyone who is creative and is a lover of the Kaffy brand. It's only starting with the dance industry. Like we believe wealth is health is the well of wealth. It means in sound health, you get wealth. So what we are doing is to start with the dance industry, then like a ripple effect. You can only know where it starts from, the drop of impact, but it swells and goes round and round to as much as people, especially youth. Yeah.
And we have the final question here. What are your expectations from the partnership? What do you see it impacting? How do you see it impacting the health industry? So our expectations, Kaffy Avon, of this partnership is to improve access to health care. Kaffy can't overemphasize this. If dancers don't have access to health care, the craft is further endangered. And their numbers we had mentioned earlier on, we mentioned that about 50% of the population in Nigeria are youths. And of the 50%, we have about 75% of them in the creative industry. So there should be an urgency. There actually should be a sense of urgency to this. What we are looking to achieve here is to create access to health, because as Francis rightly said, health is wealth. So thank you.
And also, as much as we are doing this on our own, in our own benevolence, the Kaffy Foundation also is looking at, we have targets, because when you're introducing something new, you want people to start having the experience of that thing. And once they have the experience, it's kind of like it's almost like a trend, like a swag, let me put it that way. And we dancers we're all for swag. So imagine I'm on a healthcare plan, and I'm in a dance production, and something happens to me, and I'm like, don't worry, I'm covered. It becomes something that you want to be proud of in the next few years. So to start activating such a process, my foundation has already committed that 500 dancers will be given free Kaffy Health Plan. And right now we already have 472 people sign up for that already. You understand? To try and nurture it. And both of us have said, look, we are going to drive, and we are looking at about 1,000 to go out, to go out there. That means that we're also reaching out to people who can help to start to say, okay, people that can help us start allowing the community enjoy this. Because once somebody is benefiting from something, you ask them, how did you buy this cloth? So it's the same thing, like, you are sick, you just go this one, you just enter this wedding thing, boy, now we get money. And then, no, I get an healthcare plan, I only pay like 4,000 every quarter, I'm fine. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's something that we just don't want to tell you, go and get it. We're also donating it also to the community and letting people have access to it and actually believe that what it is that we've said is what it is.
Yes.
And that is one of the things that we are also taking the step that we are doing our own social responsibility and saying, okay, from our own benevolence, let's start helping people see that this thing is what they need. And one way you can actually do that is actually to give it. So there's no product in this world that you want to sell that you don't give a test sample and say, see how this thing is good for you, but see how it is. And once you've tested it once, you want to continue. You want to create you want to create
ambassadors.
Yes, we want exactly. We want ambassadors exactly, and we want it to become a tradition. We want it to become a norm. A culture. It becomes a lifestyle, like the way you are. Every dancer believes, once I make money, iPhone. There are some list of things that you consider basic empowerment kit. Exactly. So health is part of your empowerment kit, and that's why even during the Dance Boss Challenge, I didn't create the challenge to glorify money. We created the challenge to glorify empowerment of mind and activation of wealth creation. And in order to do that, we created what we call the Dance Boss Empowerment Kit. In that Dance Boss Empowerment Kit, the Kaffy Avon Partnership is providing free healthcare plans to all the winners weekly as part of the Empowerment Kit, amongst other things that we consider things that dancers need. So we are starting. So we want you all out there to also start taking note of it and start subjecting yourself into prioritizing your health. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you everyone.
Yeah, sorry. Before you continue, I want to say, those of you shooting us, all of you behind the camera and the pressmen, and those of you watching, all of you, take Kaffy Health Plan is accessible to you too.
That's true.
How much is the plan?
The plan is, I think, for the year, it's 26,000 something a year. And I think they can pay quarterly, right?
Yes, so for the Kaffy starter, that was at 26,999.
For the year.
For the Kaffy starter plan, per individual, that goes for 26,999 naira for the year for individual. The Kaffy Plus plan, which is slightly higher than the Kaffy starter plan, goes for 52,999 naira a year. And those are the individual rates. You can buy for families, which consist of 2 parents and 4 children under the age of 18. Thank you.
You said there's a payment method.
Yeah, they can have
Yeah,
academic
we
payment.
will once we roll out the information, we are definitely after this conference going to put out the information out there, so you can read up on the benefits. So you see what is covered, you see the hospitals that are accessible, and how you can also enroll for the plan. All that will be available from the Avon website to the social media handles. It will be all over the place. Thank you.
Mention the website. Avon website. What's the URL?
Oh, the Avon HMO website is www.avonhealthcare.com.
And you can also get information on the Dance Boss with Kaffy pages, and that's Dance Boss with Kaffy, Dance Boss with Kaffy, on the Kaffy Foundation, www.kaffyfoundation.com. You can also get the information there as well.
Thank you very much. This has been an exciting session. Please, can we have a round of applause for everybody? So this brings us to the end of the press conference. I'd like to recognize some of the stakeholders in the gas industry that we have watching us online. I was told that we have Mr. Adedayo, the director of the Ijodi Dance Group.
Dance company. Yeah.
Ijodi Dance Company.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. I'd like to also appreciate all the members of press watching live. And then for more information, you can visit our website, like Dr. Jide already said, www.avonhealthcare.com, and also follow us across all social media platforms at Avon HMO. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.